You're tuned in to Just One Hot Mom with host Nanika Ansari. Get ready. She's about to bring you that fire, that flavor, that heat, all that passion, and more from around the world and in your neighborhood. Stay tuned.
Hey, howdies, you are tuned into Just One Hot Mom. I am your host, Nanika Ansari, and it is mixed emotions about today's neighborhood look. I don't know what we're doing. I just don't know if we're going to get summer. Like, was it yesterday the first day of summer, or is it today? Is it today? I have no clue anymore, but it doesn't feel like summer today. But I'm alive, you're alive, and you're tuned in. I am so excited for today's show because we had the most amazing conversation yesterday. I am on with the winning single mom, Miss Kaywanda Lamb. Hey, Kaywanda.
Hey, thanks for having me.
How are you today?
I'm good.
So you're all the way in Texas, so I know it's feeling real good in Texas right now.
Listen, if you say 105 degrees is real good, sure.
I don't know. We could take a couple of those degrees up here in Cleveland. I am so excited to talk to you today. Our conversation yesterday was so amazing. And then I was able to view you on another show yesterday. And I was like, oh, I'm really excited for us to pour into some families today and them winning. So how you ready?
Yes, let's do it.
Okay, cool. So can you tell us why you are winning at being a single mom?
You know what? I tell people you have two choices. You can stay stuck or you can move, right? You can get up and you can do it anyway. I'm winning because I'm not waiting on somebody to say, I pick you. I'm winning because I'm not waiting on people to say, oh, you're doing such a good job. I could care less about anybody's opinions of me. I'm winning because I get up every day. I work my butt off to make sure my boys have a roof over their head. I love my kids. I live my life. I've built my tribe. I enjoy my life. I'm not sitting where I was 18 years ago, 16 years ago, just trying to figure out what's going on. And Lord, how did this happen to me? I took some lemons and I literally made some lemonade. So when I say winning, it's relative, right? So what's winning for me is the opposite of what was losing 16 years ago when I was sitting there crying over a man that didn't want me. When I was sitting up worried about who was talking about me, when I was, all those things that don't matter. So every woman under the sound of my voice, you can decide today to win. Throw off all of these labels and what people like to call you and just say, you know what, doggone it, I love my life just the way it is. And if you can literally say that you love your life the way that it is, then, honey, you're winning.
And see, I was like, I love that about your spirit. It wasn't about anybody else. It was about making sure that you were satisfied with your life, that you were meeting your own expectations. And so after our conversation yesterday, I was like, some ladies, even some gentlemen, we're about to start winning at this life. So I wanted to know and ask you, what is your definition of a single mom? Because I think people get it mixed up. And so I asked a couple different people, and I just wanted to get your opinion of what's the definition of a single mom?
And this might hurt some folks. A single mom is a woman who is parenting children alone, and she's not married. You could be living in the house with your boo thing, and y'all been together for 15 years. But I'm so sorry to tell you, if he happens to pass away, his things don't belong to you unless y'all have gone and taken some legal steps. You don't get anything for loving him for 20 years. And so when we fill our applications, there are 4 boxes. You're married, you're divorced, listen, you're single, or you're widowed, okay? Those are the only choices. And I understand that so many people are like, I don't have to have this to prove our love. No, you don't. But there are some things that come along with that love that you and this man have for each other. And so I'm telling you, there are perks to still in that deal. But if you're out here raising a baby or children and you have a boyfriend that lives with you, sweetie, unfortunately, you're still a single mom. And people say it's complicated and I'm in a special relationship. I'm sorry, we don't have no boxes for that. There are no boxes for special. Your employer can't do anything with. You've been with your boo for 15 years. And I know that makes some women feel some type of way. It makes some men feel some type of way. And I like to challenge you to ask you, why does it make you feel some type of way?
And see, I'm glad you asked that question.
Why don't you want to be with each other?
Yes, because there are a lot of people out here though, but I think because we've made it like, oh, there's a partnership now. So most jobs are allowing you, if you have a domestic partner, to say, okay, you can sign them all your information. But what's the difference between you having a domestic partner and actually just going ahead and getting married? Why do you think people are choosing the domestic partnership rather than becoming a wife?
Okay, there are some changes coming on legally because folks have been pitching a fit, and we know we also have some same-sex marriages, right? So that's a lot of where all of that came from, so that they could then, because again, they're with people for all these years and they're not getting any of the legal benefits. And so a lot of that, we know we got state common law, you guys knock yourself out. But I think that the thing behind all of this is when you talk to most of those folks, some of them have been married before, some of them have been in relationships that didn't work out. A lot of people want to protect their own assets. And so what does that tell me? That tells me you really might not love this person just as much as you say you do, because there's some fear there. There's some fear of what if we get married and it doesn't work out? What if we combine everything and this person takes half? I mean, if we can keep it really real, let's just go and keep it really real.
All right, rip that Band-Aid off.
A lot of my married friends are wishing they were single, and then I got these single friends wishing they were married. Let's just keep it really real. Mm-hmm. So relationships are hard, and so I think people are like, listen, let's just opt for this. I like you, you like me. If we put a title on it, then it might not work out. Then we're going to start feeling like we really supposed to belong to each other. I mean, isn't that the point?
Right. And then, well, that's the thing. Like, how you're with someone for 15 years and you haven't signed on with that person. And so I think, like, some people just get it confused and mixed up. Like, you're still single. And that's just how it is. And until you guys officially make it official and it's a part of a docket somewhere that we can look up, it's not, it is what it is. But I think a lot of people are afraid to take that next step, like you said, mainly because of finances. And you and I had this conversation, like, finances will change the game for a lot of people. If you feel like your finances are being pulled in a direction that you don't want it to go, then you get upset, you get frustrated. And I think a lot of marriages end because of finances.
Well, when people talk about these statistics about, like, the number one reason for divorce, we all talk about communication and we talk about finances. And I don't necessarily think with most of those people that it's, that they didn't have the finances. I think sometimes we're just not prepared that this is life. And this life thing, you're signing on to say, you know what, I got your back. And I believe that you have my back. That's really what we're doing. I love you so much. I want to go through life with you. I want to support you, and I believe that you're going to support me. And sometimes we get into these relationships and we haven't done the work to figure out what kind of spender a person is. Like, do you believe in saving? How have you been handling your finances before? Before you get married. And I hear so many stories of people saying, the husband goes out, he makes his money, some of these old day stories, right? Because nowadays most of us all work.
Everybody.
And you would hear stories of the men being like, my wife wasn't managing the money. Like, she was shopping, she was this or that, or something happened and she didn't feel like she could come to him. And so she was trying to, cover it with the credit cards, and then all of a sudden they're in bankruptcy or whatever. And, life happens. I'm a witness of life happening, honey. I done lost it all, built it back, lost it all, started out with something, just life. And so I think that people have to be realistic about what they're going to have to go through, because we can't see the future. But what I need to know is I'm with somebody, I'm locked in limbs with somebody who will say, no matter what the future holds, I got you. And see, that's something you can build and you can rebuild with a person like that. If these people are marrying based on looks and status and all the stuff that we see folks doing, and I hear this all the time, it looked good. It was the next logical step. Now I don't want your hand in marriage.
And I don't want your next logical step. Like, I don't need it. But I was thinking, like you said, communication and finances are really the key. And if you weren't a good finance person in your own single life, then how do you think you're going to bring that to the table in your married life? And so we need to learn how to communicate about our finances. And it's about fixing yourself up first, like making sure your finances are in order so that when you do finally come together, then you can have a decent conversation and give out details about what's really going on with your life. But no, we hide that, honey, because we don't want nobody to know if we going broke.
and that is the thing, and that's the thing about the fear, right? And that's what I meant. Like, we're afraid to share, but if we shared, and I'm talking about my own experience here, if we shared, then people could help us. then we can find out already, do we even need to go ahead and marry this person if they shun me because I'm letting them know that I had a situation that happened and this is the best thing that I could do right now? Or do they lovingly say, that's okay, let's work through that before we tie the knot? Like, literally, I have a friend, and she was like, girl, he's got to be this height, he's got to make this much money, he's got to have this kind of credit score. And I was like, well, you just might as well be by yourself because, most people have gone through something. Mm-hmm. People trying to get there. I mean, it just depends. Like, if you met me in my early 20s, shoot, I was raising 2 kids on $26,000 a year. Now, I paid off a lot of credit cards and got my credit score up. Come on now.
All right,
but it took diligence. It took sacrifice. It took hustle. It took me going back to school. It took me elevating in my job. But whoever met me at that time and wanted me to be Miss Glossy, Flossy, Fabulous Trophy, that was not the Kaywanda you were going to meet because I was on the grind. And I think we have to learn how to be a little bit more, I don't know if the word is forgiving, mm-hmm. but we have to show grace to people.
Oh, I'm so glad you used that word, grace.
Folks have been through stuff. Yeah. I mean, and we look at the man and the poor man, girl. I think a lot of times these men are holding on because they don't want to be the guy that, oh, she married me for my money. Mm-hmm. There's such a fear I hear from so many guys. Oh, man, I'm a good catch. I don't want her to be marrying me for my money. And I'd be like, well, what I need you for, sir? Let's be real. Let's be real. What I need you for? And I know that insults some people, but mm-hmm. I want us to be logical about this thing. If I'm over here single doing what I got to do, you over there single doing what you got to do. Obviously, we try to combine these things so we can do more. So let's keep it real. We got to stop being so touchy-feely about this money, and we got to have these conversations. Like, how to combine, do we go to the next level?
You said that because I'm so glad you said that because I was reading, like I told Kaywanda, like I stalked the guests before they come on, so she's already aware that you guys. But I was in your about section learning a little bit more about you and your testimony. And, I was telling like single motherhood was never anybody's, I don't think that's anybody's fantasy or destination that they're trying to reach. I wanted to know if you could take us back to when you first figured out like, oh my God, I'm doing this on my own. Like really, I'm a single mom now. What was your initial feeling about becoming a single mother?
Girl, tears. Crying and God, how did this happen? I'm supposed to have the big house and the white picket fence. And that's why I do some of the work that I do about reconciling who we were then and who we are now, reconciling those dreams, reclaiming them, right? I had to deal with the broken heart because let's keep it real. I had a 2-year-old and a 2-month-old when we finally just could not make it anymore. And I remember just cooking in the kitchen. One was hanging on my leg, the other one was in my arms, and I was crying and cooking. So my first realization that I was a single mom was not like, oh my gosh, my life is about to be on. I was like, oh no, But I will tell you that I had a great support system for a season. My family, my friends, they were all there, guiding me and encouraging me. And I will tell you, there were some times when people lost faith in what I was able to do. And I kind of heard through the grapevine that they were saying those things. And I was shocked because I was like, don't they know me? Don't they know I'm resilient? Don't they know that I'm going to make it? Don't they know? And then I had to look at my reality. We talked about this yesterday on the podcast when I was talking to Aisha. And, we were talking about just how you get into the, just the everyday of doing things and you don't kind of take care of yourself. And I remember distinctly, my youngest wasn't 1 yet. And I was over to my cousin's house, my best friend, and she was like, what are you wearing? And I was like, what? I had a T-shirt on. And
you had jeans, that single mom look, the initial look.
Girl, no, I was worse. I had on my maternity clothing. Now, I've been lucky most of my life, right, to bounce back. Okay, so when I had these babies, I bounced back. All right, I bounced back to that 6. I'm talking about, within a month or so, right? And that's also a secret, ladies. I wrap my belly with the little thing they give you for your breast. I wrap my belly, so let's wrap these bellies. And so, listen, I'm trying to tell you. And so, I remember I had on a size 14, but I was a size 6. Maybe I hadn't gone all the way down to the 6. Maybe I was around that 7, 8-ish, But I was considerably smaller than what I was wearing, and I didn't care. My hair was longer. I had a ponytail. I didn't comb my hair. It took me forever to get ready, and I would still come out in that jeans and T-shirt and that hair and a wrap. And when she said that to me, I just happened to look over at her face, and she was just like in disbelief. And I knew it was that she loved me and she cared about me, and I knew something was wrong. But up until that point, I had noticed it. So when I got home that night, I remember looking in the mirror like, oh, my God, what has happened to you? And I made a decision there weeks ago to the store to buy clothing that fit me, to go get my hair done. And when I tell you I came up into the workplace, they were like, who is she? I was like, yes,
Did you cut your hair? Did you cut your hair? Because you know when a woman cuts her hair, that changes the game. Whenever I see a woman cut or dye their hair.
Girl, swinging, blowing in the wind. Let me just tell you, when I started my job, I was actually pregnant with my first child. And I was hiding it in the clothing that I wore. So nobody there had ever seen me. Because I went from having, the first baby, being pregnant there, and shortly after getting pregnant again, so they hadn't really seen me be myself. You know what I mean? And so it was a coming back to me moment. I enjoyed my little new outfits, and that was the beginning, I think, of me realizing that, girl, you got to get your life together, right? It's not just how you look on the outside; you got to work this inside too.
And see, I had this conversation with somebody earlier today. They were like, I'm newly divorced and I have my kids and all this stuff. And I was like, it's okay. What I need for you to do is have your emotions, have all of your emotions, but don't marry those emotions. You have to have them so that you can say, okay, let me bury these when I'm done with them so that you can move forward and move on. But I think all too often we get stuck and we marry those emotions. So those emotions we just carry them with us. Like you put a ring on it and you just keep carrying them with you. And everything that you do after that, those emotions always rise up and we never deal with them. I think you have to deal with yourself first before you can start to deal with other people. And so once you started dealing with you wasn't cute and then the maternity clothes, I can't believe you wore the maternity clothes out.
Girl, listen, and was like, what? What y'all looking at? What?
And be looking like I look how I look. Like I always tell people, like my house looks lived in. That's just the look of it. It looks lived in. It's people here. But I wanted to, because you mentioned your tribe and how they were pulling for you and helping you get back. And so as any single mom, I think as any mom knows, your tribe is very important. They are the people who help you win. They are the people who back you up. And so I was curious because I know that you did an interview with a single dad. Why do you think that there's not a space for single dads? Like we don't hear them talk about a tribe like we as single moms talk about tribes.
You know what? I think that men, and I know somebody's going to say, no, Kaywanda, that's so sexist. But I think that men and brothers, I love you. And I have a particular brother that I love, and I work with him, and we're doing some things together to try to, get more information out in the space. But I think men don't even hardly miss a beat because they can always go get a new girlfriend, And some men take a while and they enjoy it. Raising their kids. But most of them, they got the living girlfriend. They're going to have a new wife real quick. Most men don't stay single so long, right? And we stigmatize single mothers. A man might be like, oh, I ain't trying to be no ready-made dad. But then when he a single dad, he ready to go get a wife real quick, ready to go get a girlfriend real quick. And I know that's not the question you asked me, but I wanted to put that out there because
I appreciate that.
I think that sometimes they don't even consider themselves like they do. They know they're a single dad, but because they got the girlfriend, they got she's coming in, she's helping with the hair. They're learning and doing and working with the hair. And some of them may take a break and they have their space too, but they're dating. They're finding the time to get out there.
They also have their moms.
I talked to some of the guys. They have a problem sometimes getting, depending on how young their kids are. They may have a sitter situation. But I want to finish this because, I want y'all to hear that we have similar struggles, but let's remember most men make more than women, right? So they can get that sitter. We can get the single women down at the church, want to help him out. They want to come by and bring meals, and over on this side, most of the time we look and we pity, right? And we say, oh, she's a single mom. Oh, my sister. I get so many women. Oh, my sister was a single mom. Oh, you poor dear. And I'm like, listen, I got peace in my house, and we don't know what it's like over at yours, so don't be pitying me. But we like to do that in society. We like to put people down because their status changed. So anyway, the question that you asked me about single dads, I just want to put that out there because I feel like there's something that's kind of underlying in the background that we don't always consider. They may be able to pivot sooner. They may be able to date sooner. They may be able to get, in a relationship sooner that helps them balance. Whereas sometimes we are looked at as, oh, well, wow, I ain't ready to be a ready-made dad, so I might not want to, I'm a single dude, I might not want to date a chick with kids, although there are plenty of good men who do. Okay, so I'm not saying that it doesn't exist. But how come there's not a lot of information out there is because I think that most men don't show up as that. Like, they'll just keep on, and we might not even ever notice, oh, wow, he's raising his kids by himself, right? And so I think we do need to shed more light on that, because my friend who I interviewed, Jay Jackson, I didn't even know he was a single dad. I was like, what, word? I just happened to see him share about it. And so I think they don't readily identify themselves as single dads. I think, too, because they may feel that there's some kind of stigma as well.
Okay, we're going to move on to the dating question, but I wanted to go back because you brought up dating anyway, and we were going to segue into that. So do you think that men don't deal with their emotions like women do, though? Because I feel like women, we go through this whole big phase. Like, you got to eat chocolate, drink wine. Your girls got to come over and rescue you. Whereas, like you said, like, you know how we go through it. But as you said, like, men will get back out there and they will start dating all over again. Like, it didn't faze them at all. Do you think, though, that they're not dealing with their emotions will bite them in the long run?
Well, absolutely. But I also think it's the women. It's up to us, too, to challenge men. And do you mean men in general or single dads?
Single dads.
Single dads. I think I'm not going to do the brothers like that. I think that they do process their emotions. I do think that because society says men shouldn't cry, you shouldn't do this, you got to act like a man. I think they show up with that in different ways. And I think they may do some silence, at home when they've gotten everything together, just kind of have their moments, right? But I know in particular some single men that are some amazing fathers, and they're looking for a good woman, and they're ready to date again, and, all of that. And we've had some candid conversations about, men cry. We mourn the divorce and the loss just like women do. But at the same time, remember that a man is set up differently biologically, and, they just might not be able to go as long as the rest of us. And so they're back out there on the hunt, right? They're back out there putting those emotions where they need to be compartmentalized. And, okay, now, listen, where's my next roof?
So we may need to take a page from their playbook and start to, get these feelings together and get the snapback going on a little bit faster, like deal with those emotions and then make your comeback greater than it was before. But I feel like we take a long time. So, like, after we break up with somebody, you could be dating somebody for 3 months and you break up with them and you just it takes you 6 months to heal. And so I just feel like we as women have to get it together. Well, one, we're dealing with our kids too, so we're dealing with multiple emotions. But I'm saying we should honestly maybe take it from their playbook, deal with your kids, get yourself back together, and then get back out there. And don't be afraid to get back out there. I think a lot of the women I talk to are actually afraid to get back out there because I'll be hurt again. But we've heard that from men and women that you could possibly be hurt again. So now, Kaywanda, I'm about to get personal. Are you back on the dating scene?
Girl, who left? But I will tell you, so let me qualify this, right? And I agree. One of the things I teach women in my dating confidence coaching is to be able to date multiple people at the same time. See, sometimes we put so much stock in one person and we're not even really paying attention to the signs and if we really are, a fit for each other. And I didn't mean sleep with. I meant, date multiple people, get to know folks, because guys do it all the time. Like, you meet a dude and you talking to him, you best believe you're not the only one that's calling him, texting him. He might be really interested in you and might be spending more of his time with you, but he's gonna be making his decision before he picks just you, right? And so I'm not saying that's all dudes. Some dudes probably like, hey, Wanda, but I'm telling you from talking to dudes,
they don't put all their eggs in one basket. They don't put all their eggs in one basket.
And so I teach women to do that. Now, I will tell you, I dated a guy for 3 years and I considered marrying him, right? He was better than all the other ones in so many ways. But, I just knew this wasn't what I was supposed to do. Like, I had this gut feeling, and sure enough, we ended up breaking up, and that wasn't a thing. And trust me, when I finally broke up with him that last time, I ain't need no mourning season. I ain't need no 6 months. I ain't know nothing. I was good. I was Gucci. You understand? and I think that we have to start owning who we are and really processing how amazing we are. Because so many times as women, we settle. We say, oh, this guy approached me. So I'm going to accept him. You know, I'm going to give him my number. I'm going to date him because at least, you know, we got to stop doing that. You need to be focusing on who are you truly compatible with spiritually, financially, your values, emotionally, all this stuff, you know, where you are in your life, all these areas that we need to be compatible in. Chemistry, you know, a lot of people out here get with folks because they got money, but you have no chemistry and they don't have a heart for you. And so what I would say to the actual question that you asked me, am I actually dating? I am now open, right, to dating. Mm-hmm. So one of the things that I did was I do like a detox after I date somebody. I go, like, I'm totally celibate. I've been celibate 4 years. I didn't intend to go 4 years, but I've been celibate 4 years. And now the Lord knows, you know, me and Jesus got some conversations.
Yeah, I got something to work out.
Celibacy thing. We got some conversations behind the celibacy thing. And so I believe that you can be single, saved, and satisfied. And that's the way that I live my life right now. I'm single, I'm saved, I'm satisfied. I put God above everything. And do I like sex? I'll go ahead and tell this on national radio. Yes, I do. Do I want to have sex sometimes? Yes, I do. But what do I believe in more? I believe in honor. I believe in sharing myself with somebody who loves me. I would prefer to be married when that happens. And that's just my truth. That's my journey. Now, do I date people? Yes, I will go out on dates. We can hang out. We can have fun. We can get to know each other. But am I giving you cookies? I ain't interested in giving you no cookies because I got to make sure you are the proper recipient of these cookies. And so that means I need to know more about you. Because, see, one of the things that we do in America today is we look at somebody, oh, he's fine. Oh, he's got a good job. Oh, he's let's have sex. And you end up getting this soul tie, this attachment to somebody that 2 weeks down the road, you realize, oh, my God, I don't even like him. But the sex is so good.
And you don't even know him.
Because, you know, who else giving you good sex like this? And so the point that I'm making is we got to do better, and we got to stop sharing who we are so fast with people and make sure that we're really building relationship and connection, and that person is showing you that they honor you, that they want more from you than just your body. And, you know, until I meet a brother like that, listen, clink, clink, clink.
You got the chastity belt on. We got to tell these ladies, in case y'all don't know what the chastity belt is, that's what you keep on. It keeps your cookies in the cookie jar. And so I want to know, though, if you could tell us 2 things that motivate you to keep getting out there, because so often women have these horrible experiences when they're dating and getting back out there in the scene. Mm-hmm. It makes them draw back in, and they don't want to put themselves out there anymore. They're afraid to put themselves out there, or they just like, you know what, I don't want to put any effort. What motivates you to keep dating?
I believe in good love. I believe that there is some man who deserves me. Now, I also believe that we could connect with multiple people on the earth. I don't think there's just this one guy, and because it didn't work out, then I'm doomed to be alone forever. I don't believe that. I believe that we can connect and love and share and build life with multiple people. Now, it's our choice to choose. Right. And so in that, we need to not be choosing crazy folks. But the things that keeps me going is I believe in good love. I have love to give, and I deserve good love. And that's what keeps me going. I also coach other women on getting out there. And let me tell you, I had a mom this week tell me she's getting engaged, right, because of work we did at my vision board party this year. I was coaching a lady last year, and within before our 3rd call, got her with a boo. So I know my methods work. And the same thing that I'm telling you is what I do. And so I believe in good love, and I believe that the love we look at when somebody is 70 and 80 and they're still holding hands, I believe I deserve that. I don't deserve to do like I saw today. This guy walked in a restaurant. I was having brunch with my girlfriend. I'm like, oh, cute couple. You know, all right, he's jazzy. All right, she cute. And literally they walk in together, and I watch. I'm a people watcher. I should have been a sociologist, child, anthropologist. And this dude, they're turning a corner, and he jumps in front of her doggone near. She about to trip because he big baller, shot caller, fancy GQ. I was just like, we got to stop picking these dudes. Like, ladies, that's a sign. Man, dude, where's the respect, right? And I'm going to show you the same honor. Listen, he ain't got to open all the doors, but they ain't open a door. I mean, don't run over me. And so I think that because we sit and we say, oh, I'm a single mom, I don't want to be a single mom, I don't want, there's so many women who jump in and out of relationships because they just don't want to be single, but they don't know who they are. So they keep showing up in these relationships being whoever that guy wants. And then they're, dumbfounded when the thing ends because, you've got to figure out who you are. That's why I take a break after relationships and just focus on me, loving me, living life, traveling, enjoying my girlfriends, enjoying my kids, focusing on my businesses, and just really processing. I even think about, okay, what went wrong? What was a red flag? When should I have let this dude go? I go back and I'm like, okay, what was my part? Like, you got to, like we said earlier, the healing, right? You got to own all of that. See, the next guy, I'm not going to be talking to him about, oh, dude. I'm not going to be talking to him about any of that. You know why? Because I'm healed.
And see, that's
because
what it's about.
Matters.
Take time to heal.
It's not top. I've given myself the space and the grace to release it. And so now I got mental capacity and heart space to get to know somebody else, to get to really be interested, genuinely interested in knowing who you are and how you do what you do. How many of us go out on these dates and people are constantly on their phones and they're this and they're that? That's because they're not focused. Such and such, girl is messaging him and he's talking about this is mama. And, listen, I don't have time for people like that.
And I think, too, a big thing that we need to do...
What are real human beings that they want real human connection and people that genuinely care about them?
I think another thing that we need to do is date ourselves. We don't really learn who we are after a breakup. We just automatically jump back into dating the scene. You need to date yourself and figure out who you are. Kaywanda and Hotties, we're going to take a short break. Stay tuned, because when we come back, we're going to wrap up this dating conversation and give you some tips on winning. Talk to you soon. Hey Hotties, welcome back. And if you are just tuning in, we are on with Kaywanda Lamb, and she is the winning single mom, and she is dropping some real live nuggets for us today. And so Kaywanda, I said we were going to wrap up this dating conversation. I want to go back to an article you wrote that I read about single moms dating single dads that don't see their kids. And so I was wondering if you could drop some nuggets first. But why do you think that we as women are cool with dating a man who we know has kids, but we never see those kids around and he hardly ever talks about them? Why should we be wary of those men?
Well, I think that he has some unresolved issues, and, I don't want to make this about my kid's dad, but I ended up talking to his wife a couple years ago. I didn't know he had got married. And he married this woman. She already had a child. He had a baby with her, and they're married now, I believe, and all of that stuff. And so the reason I don't know that is because, he's not seeing his children on a regular basis, and I've never been introduced to the woman. However, we had a nice, good conversation, and she's a good lady. The truth is that she didn't know about me, and the things she had heard about me weren't too positive. And so I think, too, that these men do a good job of talking about the exes and the baby mamas, and women have to do their due diligence. See, because of my experience, I'm not against dating a man who has children or a man who has, I would prefer him to have older children like mine. That's in a blended family situation, right? I wouldn't mind being in a blended family situation. However, my rule is I need to know if you have children, and I need to know that you are providing for those children, not just financially, but you're seeing those kids. Because of my own experience, I know to ask those questions. I think women who are seeing men who don't have kids are twofold. I think, one, they're believing what he's telling them, and two, they're just taking care of themselves. They're not thinking. They're just like, well, he's taking care of me. He's good to me. He's good to my kids. He's good to the kids that we have. That's all that matters. I see him pay his child support, so that must be good. That must be enough. And I think that we have to stop being selfish, and we have to say, and trust me, there are some good women out there that are the reason why those men come back. I know there are some women in some co-parenting situations, and their husbands, really do want to see their kids. And we have, we got so many sides. We got the woman who doesn't want the guy to see the kids because she's mad he left or whatever, they didn't work out. Then we got the dude who wants to see his kids, and he's dealing with that flack from the ex. And then we have the ones who are just like out of sight, out of mind. Okay, I'm sending child support, so she must be all right. And the truth is, I've had some hard times raising my boys over the years. We've had some things that hit us, some medical bills, like one broken arm, another one broke an ankle. I've built, I've done, and I've had some successes and stuff, but I've also had the struggles of going from, how do you take care of two kids on $26,000? And before that, it was $14,000. I had to level up to get to that $26,000. Let's be clear, and that took some years. And so when people try to tell me about how hard life is and what they can do and what they can't do, I remind them of what it is that I've been through. And if I can push my behind and get through it and go to work full time, go to school full time, raise two kids, crying in the middle of the night, getting up the next day smiling, doing it over and over again until my kids' life changed, then you can too. And so I just simply say that those men don't understand what the mom is actually going through. They think, oh, I sent her this much money, so she must be good. Oh, she got a new car, so she must be using my child support. Child, please. Child, please. Your child support does not do that. I work too. Your child support is to help with your children. And your kids need more than just that financial donation. So I think that a lot of times those women, it's like the don't ask, don't tell. Like, oh, he says he helps with them. Okay, so then that's good. And they don't think like those are little babies and human beings that also need their daddy's hugs. And all I know is if you coming to me and you telling me you got kids and you're not seeing them, bro, we can't do business, because until I know that you're in their lives and I've at least seen you try and you got rejected, and I need to see you try 1,000 times after that, because it's unacceptable. It's absolutely unacceptable not to see your kids. And again, I think these women are just like, oh, well, he takes care of me, so that's all that matters. Oh, well, he said this, so I'm going to take his word for it. And I challenge every woman out there that's in a blended situation like that to challenge your man to make it right with his kids, because this is why we have some of the problems we have when we're dating guys. They're the children of that man who walked away. They're the children of the fatherless home. And now you got problems with him because he got daddy issues.
And see, we don't never recognize that. Yeah, we don't recognize that men have they have just as many daddy issues as we do as women. And child support goes so far beyond just collecting a check. It goes so far beyond money. And I don't think people realize that support, when you ask for support, it's more than just money. You are asking for people to emotionally support you, spiritually support you, to pour back into your life. So if you're asking for that support, just imagine if the person that you helped produce needs support. Why wouldn't you be willing to offer them that as well? So I was like, I find it like, when I read the article, I was like, really, there are women out here who, and I know that they are, who see a man, he's taking care of you and he's taking care of your household, he's taking care of kids that aren't even his, but he can't connect with those kids that are his. And we all know that there's some women out there who are fighting, saying that you can't see the kids for this reason and that reason. And to that, I say you have to keep fighting.
They still trying to hold on to the dude. They're still trying to hold on to the dude. And what we have to learn how to do is how to let go as women. We have to learn, listen, if a man tells you that he does not want you, you got to take his word for it. I don't care if y'all were just lovey-dovey 2 months ago. I don't care how good it is. You have got to hear that thing, and you've got to release, but you've also got to do the best for your kids. If he's a good dad and he treats those kids right, you let him see his kids.
And I thank you. I'm sorry, I had to interject. Oh, no, you're good. No, you're good. I want to thank you, though, for all those dating tips, because, like, people need to hear that. Like, even, like, people like, that's redundant, but you need to hear, because obviously we are still having situations where people have not caught on to what you actually need to do in order to date properly. And so I wanted to ask you this, because I hear all the time, like, blogs like yours or blogs like mine, we glorify single motherhood. Like, we're encouraging women not to take steps to get married or to settle down and have a family. So, you'll be shocked how many I get write-ups, write-ins, like, being a single mother shouldn't be glorified. And I'm like, I don't think I'm glorifying it, but I'm bringing attention to it, that it doesn't mean a death sentence. And so I want to know why you started your single mom blog. I know because you became a single mom, but what was it like? You're like, hey, I'm not going to be downtrodden about this. I'm going to make it positive. How do you keep it so positive when people are like, you shouldn't even be glorifying that right now?
Can I just keep it real? I think
Rip the Band-Aid off.
I has kicked in, and people don't come for me like that. I had one guy come for me recently. He called me sexist or something, and I was just like, dude, did you read my blog? Do you watch my lives? Who are you? So some random dude with just one first name, and I was like, oh, this is all the attention I'm going to give you, sir. But real talk, I've been a single mother now. My oldest is 18 and my youngest is 16. So I've really been a single mom from the beginning. I just didn't know it. And, over the years in my healing process, I've had to give their dad grace, because the person that he was then and the person I was then, and, I used to just blame him for everything. Like, it's his fault. I'm a single mom, and it's his fault. He planned this, and nobody can plan that. I know that everybody has a journey, and so I've been able to, compartmentalize that, release him, go about my life and live it, right? Whether he said, I'm sorry, whether he apologized, whether he said, you're a good mom, anything. I had to live my life minus getting anything from him other than what he was able to give. And sometimes I think we don't process that. Sometimes people give us what they got. And sometimes it's not enough, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so how was I able to, when did I start writing the blog? I started in 2013, and it was literally after, literally so many single and married people kept saying, oh, you're doing such a great job with your boys. They're so well-mannered. You've done so much. How do you do all of this? And you're a single mom, and I'm married, and I can't even get this done, and I'm single, and I can't even get this. And I was like, what is wrong with these people? Why do they keep saying that? And then just one day in December in 2013, I literally woke up, and I was like, I'm going to write a blog. I'm going to start a blog. And I have no idea where that came from. Obviously, it came from God, and it was a God nudge. But I was just like, what would make me want to write a blog? But I said, let me write a blog, and I called it the Do It Anyway blog because they were just bombarding me with it. And I was like, you know what? You got to do it anyway. I didn't have a choice. I had 2 kids that were looking at me, beautiful little boys who deserved to have a roof over their heads, food in their bellies, clothes in their back, medicine when they were sick. And that is why I did what I had to do. And when people say any other question they ask me, I'm like, I'm because I had to be. I'm a single mom because I am, because I've had to be, right? Mm-hmm. Do I wish that I met my husband 10 years ago? Absolutely. You know, do I say, ooh, maybe if I had focused on grad school and focusing on leveling up so much, I would have, been married by now. Do I think about those things? Absolutely. And then I also look at the relationships I've had over the years. I'm like, nah, that wasn't my husband. Because sometimes we can second guess ourselves and the choices that we make. And so I'm telling you guys all of this because I wanted to help other moms not have to go through all the years, all the pain, all the drama of what I went through. So I sat down and I said, if I could share kind of what's going on in my life and always share what's good and what's positive and what's right, we got enough negative stuff, right? Mm-hmm. And so I literally am like an encourager, like, it's hard to get me down. If you find me mad, if you find me, twitching my neck, honey, you ain't got me hot.
Oh, if I tilt that neck to the side, it's a problem.
Listen, it's a problem. It's going to be a problem because I'm typically 98% of the time like the happiest, most joyful, kind person. And that's who I was all those years ago. And I will tell you that for 3 years, I wasn't her. Mm-hmm. 3 years I was angry and bitter and resentful and mad that I was a single mom and mad this had happened to me and mad my dreams had been shattered. And then I woke up one day and I was like, girl, listen, okay, all your family tired of hearing about you complaining about this.
Everybody's tired of hearing it.
All your friends tired of hearing you talk about all of this. People could be talking about ice cream, and I'm talking about he liked ice cream. And do you know what he did? I mean everything about
David, that's how you really be. You really be that upset that everything, like you just stopped eating Oreos for 5 years because he ate the last Oreo in the house. And so now you can possibly have another Oreo.
And after praying and crying and praying and crying and pushing and all of this stuff for 3 years and being bitter, I woke up one day and I was like, it's enough. This is enough.
Well, see,
and I started to reach for the next version of me. I started to reach for the next dream, right?
And see, and that's what people don't realize, though, that your dream, just because one didn't go the way you thought it was going to go, doesn't necessarily mean you can't dream again. There are multiple dreams going on all the time in my head. And I'm like, oh, okay, this didn't work out well. Let's come up with something else. And so I wanted to start celebrating single moms. And it wasn't about your marital status. It was about you as a person, about how you were being fearless and walking in your faith and walking in your purpose. And you were doing it while you had these kids behind you and you was looking good while you was doing it. And so I was like, we need to celebrate each other, find a way to keep each other uplifted. And it didn't have anything to do with marital status, but I think you kind of you poke the bull when a man starts to be like, so you just gonna be single forever? And it's like, it's not like that. I'm not celebrating my marital status. I'm celebrating at the fact that, like you said, you're winning at life right now. And why not celebrate that? Whether you're married, single, divorced, whether you got, whatever is going on with you, why are you not celebrating you as a person? And so you mentioned this just a little bit, your motivating factors. Mm-hmm. What motivated you just to be like, I'm going to get the job done? I know your kids do, but there's something else that pushed you to just be like, you know what? I'm going to think of these businesses. I'm going to have these dreams and I'm going to make stuff happen. What were 2 motivating factors outside of your children that just kept pushing you to do what you needed to do?
Okay, the rent.
I love the fact that you're so honest.
Listen, I'm going to be real honest. The rent and the fact that, again, I literally want to make sure that every single mom that I can possibly touch, because every single mom is not going to be a single mom forever. We have seasons, right? Mm-hmm. I've met women who are like, I was a single mom. I was like, oh, I didn't know that. Like a lot of boss business owners I know, by being an entrepreneur and working in this field, they've been married like, maybe 7-10 years, something like that. But they resonate with me and what I'm doing and want to come and support my brunches and events and stuff because they understand how impactful it is to get women where they are right now and help them dream again, help them leave, help them date again, help them gain confidence, help them connect with other moms, right? And so that's why I do it. So when you say what was the other motivating factor, I looked at the women around me who weren't living, man. I looked at the people who were single moms and the folks I would come across and, how hurried and exhausted and the fact that she laid down her dreams, to take care of her kids. And I was like, by golly, I'm going to show that I can actually hold my dream and my kids in my hand. And let me tell you, by my faith and sheer Jesus alone have I been able to do that, because I'm telling you, grad school, my advisor looked at me and she said, nobody in here is taking more than one class a semester. Who do you think you are? And she didn't say it like that because we cool, but that's really what she meant. We cool. We like best buds. Now, she was at my kid's graduation party, which is crazy because I was scared to death of this little short woman, right? And so I'm the only African-American in the program, and the majority of the class is Hispanic, and there were a couple Caucasian women in there. And plenty of people started out with us, and only 2 graduated on time. Me and this other girl, we graduated. We're the only 2 in that program, Spanish literature. I have a master's in Spanish lit, and I've been an educator for the last 12 and a half years. And a lot of people don't know that because, online I show up as a winning single mom. By day, I educate children, and I also have a business where I teach small business owners and entrepreneurs the Spanish language. Now, let's go back to 2000. In 2002, when I was this crying chick trying to figure out how I'm going to feed my kids. Well, I worked at a mortgage company, and at that mortgage company, they needed people to talk to their Spanish-speaking customers. When I was getting my business degree, I had taken some Spanish classes and loved it, right? And I was good at it. And I graduated pregnant, and I was like, let me stop and go ahead and graduate. So I didn't finish my minor. I was getting a minor in Spanish. And, so there again was me losing the dream, some of the dream, right? And God showed me how to go back in 2004 and pick up the dream. And I went back and got my bachelor's. And then in 2008, I went back out in Texas after I made a new move, new change, new scenery, left that dude and anybody else behind who didn't believe in me, and went after my dreams. I moved to Texas. I started teaching Spanish and have had an amazing run, an amazing, beautiful, awesome things. And then the next pivot was, okay, now that you've strengthened yourself in your career, you've been able to take care of your kids and put them in good schools and good neighborhoods and do all of this. Now you have time to pour back into single mothers. Now you can write. Now you can share what that journey was like. Now you can give back so that somebody else might not have to take 6 years. Somebody else might not have to take 3 years. Somebody else might not have to whine and cry behind somebody who simply isn't ready.
And so I'm so proud of
that's
you.
One of the things.
Kudos to you for going back and picking up the dream. And I think that's a lot of times where we lose our way is we don't learn that we can just go back. Even if the dream didn't happen at the time that you thought it was supposed to, you can always go back to it. It's a dream and it's yours. It belongs to you. It doesn't belong to anybody else. It's specifically made for you. And so I wanted to ask you this because my kids pour into me all the time. And sometimes I don't even realize that they're pouring into me. Give us a moment where your son's like, you might have feeling like, okay, I'm not feeling it today. I'm having a moment. Can you tell us about a time that your kids poured into you and you found the strength to just keep pushing on?
My boys are some cutie pies, especially when they were little. And I'm trying to think because, sometimes we get out here and we're these independent women, we're so accustomed to doing things ourselves. So I'm really trying to think of a time that they poured into me. But I'll tell you, my oldest, he looked at me one day and he was like, anything you need, I'm always have your back. He was like, something I said about me out here building my brands and businesses and trying to impact the world. And, we live in an apartment and we used to live in a house. And I was renting that house because I never wanted to buy because I'm also like big on wanderlust and travel. So listen, I was trying to hop and live in Spain in one of these years, right?
I'm with you.
And so I was like, why should I buy a house? And so, I remember I was talking about, I don't know, I might buy a mansion one day. And he was like, oh, you don't have to worry about it. I'm going to buy a mansion and put you in it. But I can't remember exactly what the beginning conversation was because it was more of like, you don't have to worry about anything. Oh, I think it was like one of these dudes I was dating, like somebody. And he was like, who gonna put their hands on you?
I know that's right, son. Let them know.
Dude, I was like, absolutely, that's right, kid. Listen, my boy is a varsity wrestler, girl, and football players, both of them, girl.
He plays no games, honey, no games.
He was like, who gonna put their hands on you? I can't remember what the story was, but I ain't never had no dude that's like try to push up on me because one, you know, I could kind of handle myself too. And then two, these boys over here, these linebackers, you understand? Girl, this boy was like, I'm gonna put you in a mansion one day, and then he was like, you know, ain't nobody gonna ever put their hands on you. I cannot remember what had happened. Oh my God! But I was just like, you know, on the inside, you go, yeah,
yeah, like, I raised him right. Yeah. I know that's what all moms are thinking, like, yes, I did this right. Like, I be questioning sometimes, but you know what? You came through for your mom. And so I want to talk about...
He was like, who gonna put their hands on you? I was like, all right.
You know, that mother-son bond be something else. That mother-son bond is something else. But if we are being completely and totally honest, we have some fresh out the box, new single mothers who are right now tuned in like, okay, you know what, they saying it like it's easy and it's not easy. Like, I'm going through it right now.
Oh, heck no, it's not easy.
What
are
we telling? What's the one piece of the start out advice? Like, if we could put together a single mom starter kit, what would be the initial? I might do that.
I actually have a post that I've been working on. It's called like the first 7 things you need to do when you become a single mom. I've been working on that.
All right, well, give us 3.
Please go to KaywandaLamb.com and just go fall off up into that blog, please. It'll help you get your whole life.
It will. You will have a good time.
So much good stuff out there.
All right, well, okay, if you can't give us 3, give us 2 things that we should start.
The first piece of advice is to just pause and breathe. Mm-hmm. Pause, breathe. It is not the end of the world because everything's going through your head. I loved him. I tried to make this work. I did everything. My family's going to be this. I'm going to have to listen to my friends. I'm going to be so embarrassed, you know, especially women who are going through divorce, right? Mm-hmm. Like, okay, you got that. I'm telling you, the stigma is real. People don't like to talk about it. That's why I like to talk about all the stuff you don't like to talk about. and you know, that people tell us, oh, you're just crazy. Oh, no one does you like that. Yes, they do. Literally, mm-hmm. I've noticed when I moved to a new area, people be like, oh, you're a single mom. First, they're like, oh, my gosh, you should come over for dinner. Let's have drinks. And then, you know, I'll say I'm a single mom. Oh, like, baby, I don't want your husband. I don't want the man. Oh, where do you live? We live in the apartment. Oh, you live in an apartment?
Why I feel like they got to give you a hug? Like, they just got to hug you.
Girl, the stuff that humans do. I'm like, really? Like, okay, really? Have you seen my apartment? Okay, all right. You know, and so the point is that we have to process through all of that. So first thing I want you to do, Mama, is know that it's okay to give yourself grace. It's okay to cry. It's okay to whine. It's okay to do whatever you do. It's okay to be frustrated. It's okay to be mad, but it is not okay to act fool. It is not okay to act a fool in front of your kids. It's not okay to talk about that dude in front of your kids. And it is not okay to stop doing the things that you were doing that made you happy, right? So sometimes we just drop and we just go full force into single parenting. Oh, the daddy's not here. You know, some people co-parent, which is a blessing, right? So good for y'all if y'all can co-parent. But it's like the other parent is not there. Then it's like, oh, I got to be mama and daddy. And you just drive yourself crazy trying to make sure they don't have a care in the world. And the truth is that's not realistic about life. And so what we're doing is wearing ourselves out and we're teaching our kids something that we can't maintain. Mm-hmm. And eventually we're going to spiral into craziness because we're exhausted from trying to be perfect all day. And so breathe, and I need you to make a plan. I need you to sit down and say, okay, this is where I am. This is what we shared. Let's look at these financials. Let's figure out where you're going to live. How is this? I mean, I need you to focus. If I could go back to when all of this happened to me and save myself the money I wasted, girl, I would. I'm telling you, if I could go back. And so sit down and process with it, right? Process it and think about the kids and what they're going through and how you need to have that conversation with them and how maybe if you both can have that conversation about if you're going to split up amicably and, you know, try to keep the lines of communication open between the kids and the dad. Real talk, my phone number has not changed since I left Louisiana. My kid's dad has had the same phone number to be able to reach me and to reach my kids since I left 12 years ago. My kids, when I got them phones, I gave their dad their phone numbers. And so I do my part. I've done my part. I try to keep the lines of communication open when I'm having parties and when it was time for my kids' graduation, which my oldest graduated a couple weeks ago, you know, I invited their dad.
And that's all you can really do. That's all you can really do. So I want you to. He hadn't seen them in 5 years.
Go ahead. He hadn't seen them in 5 years, and God bless him, right? Mm-hmm. God bless him. He hadn't seen them in 5 years. He's missed a lot of good stuff, a lot of good things in 5 years, and you can't tell me that with 2 incomes, there wasn't a way for you to be able to get over here and see them in 5 years. But and so this is the thing now. Now it is between their dad and them. I'm no longer in it.
That's the best part. And that's when that takes over.
That's what men and women have to realize is you didn't do it to me. You did it to your kids. Mm-hmm. See, I've healed. I've gone on. I've said God bless you and went on about my way. Now you've got to do the work between you and your kids. And so they deserve love. They deserve to know that they have 2 parents that care about them. You laid down and you made them, and you claimed you wanted them. So you need to show up.
All right, Kaywanda, can you do me a favor? Can you drop your information real quick because we're going to wrap it up? So can you just give us your information and how we can connect with you? Because I'm sure there are more people with more questions for you.
Oh, well, I've had so much fun tonight. And you guys can reach me. Thank you for having me.
So, thank you for coming on.
You're doing great work and amazing work. And you can find me at kaywandalamb.com. So it's my name. I host a couple brunches throughout the year. I'll be doing one in October in Dallas and one in Atlanta in November. My books you can find on Amazon, and you can find them on my website. And I've written 2 books. The first book I wrote is called Do It Anyway, The Single Mom's Guide to Living Life and Achieving Her Goals. And so if there's anybody out there wrestling with healing and forgiveness and just figuring out the next steps, that book will really bless you. And the second book I wrote is called Parent Thrive Win. It is also the name of my Facebook group, where if you are not man bashing and you want to find some tools and support, we'd love to have you. And that book is a devotional because I would be remiss if I didn't say it's only Jesus. I'm here by the grace of God.
Amen.
You know, I have my sanity by the grace of God. I was able to forgive by the grace of God and doing the work. So thank you for having me.
Thank you so much for coming on. Hey, Hottie, she dropped a lot of nuggets for us today. And if you guys want to get to her website, go on over to the Elevations Radio Facebook page. It's in the comments for this show. That is KaywandaLamb.com. Go on over. I'm telling you, it's a super dope site. She's doing so much work. And you know how you can reach me and the hottest kids at JustOneHotMom.com, and follow us on all our social media, Just One Hot Mom. I ain't got to give you no tips this week because she's done it all. So guess what, hotties? You've been tuned in and you've been elevated. Talk to you soon.